Good morning. Here we are. What's going on? Okay, test. Audio. Up. Okay, looks good. IMAP camera, check. Outside camera, check. Bench camera. Good morning, guys. Okay, the bench camera is indeed on. It is indeed plugged in. Let me try it again. Unplug it. Plug it in again. Where's the cable go? Around the back. Excuse me this morning. Let's get this up and running here. Here it is. It's plugged into the video unit. Let's unplug that. Plug it in again. The cable out the other end, USB. USB, but I'm getting a black block here, a black Okay, I don't know, how can we diagnose this? No sound. Can you hear me now? The sound is back. Okay, what I did, I unplugged the mic is plugged into the video card, which this camera is plugged into. I just at the moment now, I unplugged the video card from the computer, put it back in. So the card is working. Sound is going from the mic into the video card into the computer. The video coming from the camera goes into the video card and doesn't come into the computer. What can I do to diagnose this? I can swap out the two video cards. I've got the outside camera and the inside camera. Let me try that. Let me turn off the outside camera for a minute. Which one is that? Which one is that? Hang on. The outside camera is this one. So guys, just a minute. Outside camera. Okay, that's what we should see. No signal. Let me plug that into the It says no signal. It's the wrong way around. Okay, what I do is take my indoor camera and plug it into the There we go. Okay, it's the video part. Can you hear me now? Is there audio? Yeah, okay, so we'll have to go with this. I'm going to have to ditch the outside one. I'm sorry. The capture card is not working properly, so let's do this. Let's just boost this up. I have to rearrange the order of these things, move that up, okay? Let's put the other one, the outside camera, into this other one in case it decides to come alive. Okay, all we can do. Sorry about that, too bad about the outside view. I'll try and diagnose this later. There's no sense in mucking around with it too much now. I may have lost the video card. Too bad, these are expensive, these things. Top secret bank information, wonderful. Streamed all over the world. I'm showing no frame drops at this end. Full, I'm showing 0 drop frames, full streaming at 4000 kb kilobits per second. Technical glitches. Show and tell. We have a kind of a show and tell, although I'm not really sure if I should talk about it. I don't know. Remind me at the end of the stream here. Today's Saturday. Cameron won't be here. It's just you and me. Video cards. Look at the cables all over my bench. Okay, let's get to work. What was that? Show and tell back farms. John Becker's here, John, this morning. He won't be typing into the stream here from Tennessee next week. He'll be typing in from a bit closer, right? Well, when you're troubleshooting, you switch stuff out. You switch out the cable, you switch out the unit, you switch out the plug in the computer to see which one is the one that's causing the problem. And we've diagnosed it. The problem now is this, it's this black box. This cable at the moment is coming from the outside camera, it's down. This is the audio cable, which is okay. The other black box is the one that has the video signal you're seeing here. Black boxes. Yes, the paper is out. The paper is out. 4 stacks of paper. Anthony, what's happening? Ray Chan, she's finished your T-ball. There is a cool video coming. I am excited about this. There's a good video coming. Ray Chan's finished her T-ball. Who else is working? Ami-san is working on JJ series number 2. She's finished number 1, moving on to number 2, a reprint of last year's series. What else is happening up there? Sugi-san is printing, she's doing Tago no Ura, the view of Mount Fuji from Tago Bay. I can't help you, whoever you are, I can't help you. And who else is coming upstairs today? I don't remember. That is going to be a fun video. Okay, where were we? We're carving the river, the Kiso River, in front of the cats. It's going to be exactly a repeat of what we did the other day. Let me find a camera spot. There's my finger. Let's go. For those of you who missed it, we have a new blade in our knife. I changed over the blade. We have a nice, you can see it maybe all the way down. The blade now goes down to right here. The whole trough of the knife now is full of steel. It still needs a bit of tape. You can see I've wrapped tape around the blade because the handle has become so worn out over the years that the blade's just rattle in it. But we now have a new, good, clean, tight blade. We're at the tip of it, and I was afraid yesterday when we were carving that it would have been breaking all the time because the tips are usually chronically weak, but so far, so good. And we talked a lot the other day when we were sharpening it about the hollow ground on the back of the blade. And we have a perfect hollow ground here, hollow ground. Okay, back to work here, back to work. I'm still not sure what to do about this bridge, but there. I've got swimming and the fingernails left over. We were doing test printing yesterday with black, rich swimming, but can't wash it out. Visitors. So it was confirmed in the mail last night and this morning about 2 visitors coming next week. But it's not secret, whatever John on the stream here will be here in Tokyo next week. He's one of those people who seems to be addicted to coming to Japan. I knew one of them 40 years ago myself. But and he'll be bringing probably a bunch of cameras with him. Of course, John's a photographer by trade and by I guess it's not a hobby, but he works as a photographer, but it's also a passion for him. And he'll be here, I think it's next Thursday, right? The 16th? What's the 11th? 11th today? 16th. So John will be sitting in on the stream next Thursday. And coincidentally, that same day, another guest will be coming from England, Britain. William Francis is going to be here. William's on the stream this morning, not there anymore. William's going to be here for a week, stealing space from one of the carving benches, the printing benches upstairs. And he'll be in the stream too, I'm sure. So, if not the first day, he might not be here in time, but sometime during the week. He can tell you about his own work then. So, conversations. 7th time. It's more. That's probably more times than me coming to Japan. So Karen's here again this morning. I know Karen-san. I know William is going to be here next week. He's going to be doing the same thing you did. Park upstairs. I know he's got a corner of the bench. The benches at the moment are pretty full. The 4 benches in the main room now are jammed out, absolutely jammed out. So the 2 benches in the middle room, Dei-chan has moved into the second bench there, and the left bench in the middle room is still wide open. It's unclaimed, as it were. So we're going to give that to William next week. Yeah, actually, I didn't, John, a bit more. And before I went twice, the ones that I've talked about on the stream, I did come to Japan before that a number of times on business. When I worked for the music store, we went to Hong Kong and Taiwan and here to Japan to buy flutes and saxophones and stuff. So I did come here, I don't know how many times, not 3, probably 2, kind of. I'm not sure, I have to look at my passports to figure it out. I came here twice on business, quick trips, in and out, bang, bang, buying flutes, buying saxophones. And then the 2 trips, personal trips, family, and then I moved here, so. But of course I've been in and out more times than that since every year basically I've been back to see my family, at least in the last couple of decades. The first, maybe I forget exactly, 8 or 9 or 10 years, first 10 years I was here, I didn't go back at all. There was no base. My parents were moving around. They were in Australia, Britain. They moved around a lot. There was no family meetings regularly. But once my parents moved back to Canada, to Vancouver, it became a family routine for all of us. We got together once a year. I came from Japan. My brother came from Germany. And we had family reunions once a year. From about the middle 60s, I guess it was. So I was back there once a year. Mentioning again, for those of you who didn't hear it the other day, this is now the middle of January. In the middle of February, I will be leaving for 10, 12, 14 days or so to go to Canada again, see my family, my mother, my kids, my grandchildren. So there will be a stream hiatus. I don't remember the actual days of the week. I'll post the schedule later. There will be a stream hiatus for nearly 2 weeks, a week and a half. It's the quietest time of our business cycle in January, February, when the success shop. It's never quiet, but it's the quietest time. So it's a good chance for me to get out of here. Where's mine? To go to the international conference, no, it's not my kind of thing. It's academics for the most part, and it's a lot of talking and stuff. People make presentations and papers and stuff, and it's just not my style of stuff, We've had what? A few years ago it was here at Geida University here in Tokyo. I think, was it Hawaii last year? I can't remember. I get mixed up when and where they were. I think they had their first one down in Kyoto years ago. Richard Steiner, I think, helped set it up. I don't remember. I don't think he's much associated with it now. I don't know. Then they had one in at Geida here. And I was kind of interested. I was curious about it. There was going to be so many printmakers. I thought it'd be a chance to meet a bunch of people, stuff like that. Nobody called us, and only one or two of them dropped by to say hello. So it's a different kind of world. They don't sort of mix much with people like me here that have workshops, I think. I don't really know much about it. The academic research end of stuff, and then down here in the trenches, we actually sort of make stuff. The world seems to be a bit different. So. Where is the next one? Is that in Hawaii? I'm mixed up about where they are. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Some of these lines are really faint. Randall got pretty delicate with his brush here. I really can't see what they are. We're just going to cut some kind of water lines. They are really, really faint. Randall let his brush just scratch across the paper. Some of them are clear. There's water lines, coming around the base of the bridge piers. That's important. It'll show the shape of the river. There's kind of an island here, and there's water lines around the tip of the island. Very important. Same thing here. The rest of them, I don't want just little thin lines just showing the general direction of water flow. There's a tree here, I guess, that sticks out too, but it's almost indecipherable. Conversation. Yeah, trees. We now have a really mixed batch of stuff here. There's trees that were cut down, less than a month ago. They're outside. We're going to try and get them hauled upstairs. We've got trees cut down last year, 2 years ago. We've got wood now at every different stage of drying and preservation. It's still chaotic. We don't have any sensible stream, good supply of wood, and it will probably now never be such a thing in my lifetime. But we're just buying wood all over the place. We're buying antique blocks. We're reusing some of my old blocks that were carved years ago. We're buying fresh trees. We're buying trees we bought 2 years ago. Whatever. It's a jumble now. We're just trying everything we possibly can in an extreme shotgun scattershot approach to try and find some pieces of wood that are usable. I forget which this one is, the one that I'm covering. Is this one of the old Hakkei blocks or no? I don't remember. No, this is a block that came from one of the Yahoo auctions. So this, oh yeah, that's right. This is a resource of a block from around 100 years ago. I remember what we were talking about. We split it in three, and this is the middle piece of it. So this block is sourced as an antique block. Not antique from like the Edo era, but antique from middle 20th century. We sliced off the lettering and preserved that. And the piece of wood I'm actually chopping right now is from the center section of that piece of wood. So it's cool. We can use that old wood and yet still preserve the stuff that was carved on it. It worked pretty well in this case. Someone says, forgot how peaceful the stream is. Peaceful is a kind word for boring. Is that whatever. The carving work, when I was doing this by myself back in Ome, it just went on for days and days and days. Get my breakfast, head down to the workshop, and realize I'm a bit hungry. Why? And it's like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something. So just sit there and just keep going. Put the music on and enjoy it. Listen. And I had a chance last week to get another chance to sort of relive that kind of stuff. We tried to close the shop here at New Year's time on the 1st and 2nd. And I was carving, and we were way behind in the carving schedule for this year's series. And I had the key block for design number 2 here just at the end of the year. But if I had followed our schedule pattern and sent that key block out to Kawasaki-san in Kobe, we wouldn't have received it back for weeks. But our printers needed to get started on the 2nd print of the year right away. We were just way behind. So I just did it myself. Those 2 days, January 1st and 2nd, the shutter was totally closed on the 1st. And I sat here, and there was 2 pieces of wood, 4 faces. And I got them done, January 1st, January 2nd, just quietly, peacefully, for the most part, with nobody here. And it was just like a revisit to the life I used to live before we had this Asakusa shop and before I hired staff and stuff like that. It wasn't totally uninterrupted because on the 2nd day, just as I was going out for lunch, I took a break, opened the shutter to go out for lunch, and as I opened the shutter, there were some people standing outside. And it turned out to be a group of fans, friends. They'd been here before. And I couldn't just close the shutter and say, go away, so I opened the shutter fully. They came inside, and I didn't actually get any lunch. And we chatted for a while about a bunch of prints, so it was good. So that was the beginning of our year. It was a little historical time travel for Dave, going back to what it used to be like for him, just sitting carving with nobody around. In Ome, I had a nice music setup. It's still there. I say I have a nice music setup. It's a concrete building, and there's no neighbors to be bothered by this. So I've got a nice music setup. There's 2 big speakers on the wall behind me, and there's a woofer under my table. And I can just crank it up, carve and print. You can't crank up the music too high when you're printing because you need to hear the sound of the barrel on the back of the paper. But for carving, there's nothing that's audio. So it doesn't matter if the music can be as loud as whatever, or just as full as whatever. Yeah, that's right. So the only thing, it was cold, but it was okay, you know. Whatever. The girls in the shop here and me, we have this conversation round and around and around and back and forth and back and forth. As soon as it gets a tiny bit chilly here, they put the heaters on and all that stuff. The girls upstairs in the print room as well. I'm convinced that's not such a good idea. I can't control the environment here. If I tell them to keep it a little bit on the chilly side, then I just become a stingy boss, you know. So it's no longer just about me. But I preferred it on the chilly side in winter. You get a bit hot in summer, you get a bit cold in winter. It's good for your body, whatever. It's normal and natural. You feel the seasons. You know? I mean, sitting, huddling, freezing while you're working is not a good idea, but I didn't do that, and I didn't ask them to do that here. But keeping it a little bit on the cool side and wearing a sweater or something in winter, and then letting it get a bit hot in summer, I really think, whatever, if I say it's good for you, I'll get chewed out, I guess. I don't know. Keeping it at a standard, whatever it is, 22 degrees all year long, I'm convinced it's not good for you. But what do I know? that for today? Hang on a sec, let me check this. No, March. John, bring up dead stories from years ago. Yeah, of course I did. I tried to pipe warm air. I can't remember the feeling in the mood, of course, rather than buying a heater, because that place was cold. Remember, I put water on the desk and it would be frozen solid when I came down the next morning. So being cool in winter and being frozen to death are two different things. But yeah, okay, whatever. I'm remembering it more fondly than I should remember it, I guess. I don't know. This one, the little camera is way up on the roof. Yeah, so. I don't play sax. I tried years ago. I started as a classical flute player, took up classic guitar, moved into a more different kind of guitar, played electric bass in the world's worst pop band. Tried to play tenor sax, got fired from my first band. As a hotel show orchestra, I got fired from there. I played for about half a year. They kept me for about half a year, and then they had enough. They fired me. But I don't play sax. There's a saxophone buried somewhere in the Ome workshop, 2 or 3. The knife, it's a 4.5. That's all I use. It's a 4.5 millimeter. It's absolutely. It's all I've ever had. It's all I will ever use. I've got no 6, no 3, no nothing. I have one single size of knife that's done me all my work forever and ever and ever. I sharpen it sometimes at different angles at the tip. And I really should, if I was sensible about this, I should keep 2 or 3 in my box, already sharpened at different angles, so that when it came time to do little corners or something, I could move to that knife. But I'm a straight, plain guy. I keep a 4.5 knife at an average angle. What kind of music you used to listen to? It's funny, there's different answers to that. If you take the same kind of music I was listening to, say when I was carving back in Oma in the, before we opened the Sucks at the late 1990s and the early 2000s, if you had asked me then, I would have thought to my own mind, I have a fairly eclectic tastes, I would have said. I listened to a bunch of classical because that's what I grew up with. I then moved up into a more, whatever, that's the word, the eclectic thing. I listened to a lot more jazz, although jazz being in a fairly not, noisy cascades and streams of note jazz. Coltrane would have never been a favorite of mine. Ben Webster would have been a favorite of mine, not lounge, quiet jazz in that sense, but quieter stuff where you can hear streams of harmony rather than just bunches of noise. And then there was a very interesting experience one day back at the music store. I had listened to a bit of sort of pop music, but the phrase I had in my mind, it's just angry young men with guitars, we forget it. Who needs to hear that crash, crash, shouting into the microphone, angry about something? It doesn't fit my personality. And one of the guys in the shop, a guy called Terry Greenaway, he said, no, dude, it's not all like that. Listen to this. And he gives me a cassette tape of a group. And I'm like, no, Terry, I'm kind of busy. I don't really need to go there. It's just angry young men with guitars. And he said, no, look. And it was a cassette tape by a band called XTC. You know them back then. I said, I know them. They're just punk. It's angry young men with guitars. Give me a break. And he said, no, not anymore. He gives me this tape. And it was an album of theirs called Mummer. And if you know this stuff, you know the next part of the story. It blew me out of the room. Absolutely blew me out of the room. It was intelligent, interesting, well thought about, well harmonized, a bit crazy, really well done, still pop music. So that was it. I was hooked. I went out and bought everything they got, everything they had, all those CDs and cassette tapes, some they're in a box and only. And from then I widened my taste a little bit into pop music. But then rap came along and that's it. That's where I got off the bus again. So it's the same thing. It's angry, bitter, and I just don't want that in my life, So pop music now, and me, we have had no contact with each other for decades. The late 1990s is where I left totally that train. I haven't even heard or listened or had any contact with popular music since then. Any dribble of it I hear outside and around, it's of no interest to me at all. So, come say hello, come say hello. ちょっとだけでも顔出してください. It's okay. This is Sugi-san. She's on the way upstairs.
あそこの道路のやつも見ました。
でも今はあのカメラがもうボックスが変になって今オフです。
あ、そうなの？
設置したんですが、ボックスオフですから今しょうがない。ホーリーのカメラと今。そっち
にしたの。
This is Sugi-san.
おはようございます。
She's doing everything. The subscription series.
おはようございます。今やってるかと思って。
本当に残念。もう申し訳ないです。そうか。So she tried to say hello on the outside camera, but it's on. Okay, so papers out. Have a minute, でしょ。Good luck.
Thank you.
She is so good, you know. Oh my God, we're so happy to have her. So happy to have her. She's not the one with the really advice. You're sort of confusing. Sugi-san is a happy, cheerful kid, so the voice, the audio level goes up when she's in the room. But the, oh my God, careful of your headphones, that's Ishikawa-san. If she comes in, then yeah, stand back. We try and like keep her away from the microphone. So. Where was I? It's also so cool, you know, here it is, it's 9 o'clock Saturday morning. Or is it today, Saturday morning? She's coming to work and she's just so cheerful. You know. She thinks she's died and gone to heaven. This is such a cool place for her to be, you know. She gets a chance to stretch out. To the one she's doing now, it's work that's more difficult than she's ever done before. And she's like, I can't do this, Dave. I'm not sure it's made a lot of spoiled copies. And I'm like, let's go for it. Just do it. There's no way to get good unless you know, try stuff that you've never done before. Spoiled copies, we'll just suck them up. We'll throw them away, and that's it. You know, that's the price you pay to get somebody trained to a better level. You know. Very indistinct. Some of the stuff are very, very indistinct. We're just going to cut the general shapes. It's going to be okay, I guess. There might be a river line here. There might not be. I don't know. Doesn't matter. We've got lots and lots of lines here to show the flow. There's one there, and I think there's one here. I think we'll leave it at that. Not sure if there's one more than that. It's very, very faint with this brush there. Sorry to ignore this, not sure, eh? Excuse me. Those blocks from the other day turn up. They were in Ome, so we asked them to ship. In fact, she's using them now upstairs, so she had to do other work for a day. There's lots of maintenance work to do up in the workshop. The outside camera's off because one of my video cards seems to have died. Not quite sure. We'll try and adjudicate that later. And I control the color depth with how deep these carvings are. The color depth has nothing to do. This job at this point is making shapes. It's going to leave a wood surface in some places, gone in another place. We print it. We can print it lightly, deeply, darkly. No connection with the depth of the carving. It's simply A or B. This is a binary thing that's happening here. Some wood is left, some wood is gone. Totally binary. There are such things as gradations done on various carved blocks. There won't be a gradation on this one, but it is possible to put a gradation. You put deeper color or lighter color on different places on the wood. But something like this that you're seeing here, this is going to be a binary thing. These lines are going to print in a grey-black color, and the areas I'm taking away will be invisible. It's impossible for you to see the process in one simple video, one simple session. We have lots of video. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can see the printing happening. You can see lots more carving. You get a much better idea of the whole flow of the process. Now, there's a link to our YouTube video on our Twitch information page. And, if you'd like to learn more, take a look over there. There's another one there. Okay, that's actually stuff. Keep moving. Keep moving along. How's our time? We're still okay for a while, right? 9:06, yeah. What's our time? Okay. Okay, I think it's be about 15 or 20. Remind me, we've got a slight small show on top. Whatever. 100 people watching, no chat. It's because all the questions have been answered again and again and again and again and again. It's not too many people, new people that come in. When there are new people dropping in, then that's fine. The current chat members will help explain and answer questions. But for the most part, during most of this process now, the regular viewers, they know what's going on and they're doing some other work on their main computer screen or something. This is running in one corner of the screen, I assume. I can't imagine people are sitting there watching this full-time, full view. But if you want the chat to wake up at any time and ask more questions, interesting questions. But I'm going to have to get out of here pretty soon. It's 8:15, 9:15, so let's just do a couple more of these strokes. And then, the show and tell today is really not an official show and tell. As I look at this neat bunch of old prints we found, and here's what's cool about them, etc., etc., etc. Show and tell today comes from an experience. I got a phone call from my landlady, the lady who owns this building. She's just so useful for us, just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Her family historically was involved in making woodblock prints here in Tokyo in the early part of the 20th century. And so she has a history of knowledge about what this is all about, and she had this extra building and she's helping out. We pay rent, of course, but we pay very, very reasonable rent. She's just not a rapacious landlord in any sense of the word. Very wonderful, kind little lady who helps us out by keeping our rent reasonable. In return, of course, we totally maintain her building. We've modernized it and whatever. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. That's all right. Anyway, she phoned and said that some of her family members, she still, I said, she was involved in print publishing, and some of her family relations are still involved in printing. Mostly making small Senshafta prints and stuff like that. Anyways, long story short, she phoned and said some of the work that her family members had recently been involved in printing had been published, and she wanted to know, would we be interested in talking to the publisher about maybe having this stuff in our shop? And this is our landlady asking, so of course I just don't have questions. Yes, send him over. So the guy came over yesterday, and he brought the 2 prints that are finished from this project. And he was a bit worried. He doesn't know me or our work very well, and he was a bit worried because these prints involve a mix of, wait for this, they involve a mix of pop culture and ukiyo-e. He was thinking we might be pretty strict and that we really wouldn't want to be involved with pop culture as opposed to traditional ukiyo-e. As I said, this guy doesn't know anything about who we are or what we are doing, obviously. Little does he know that the whole project that he's involved with got its roots 7 or 8 years ago in what we did by mixing pop culture with ukiyo-e. Anyway, long story short. So anyway, so I said, that's not going to be a problem, but bring over the prints, let's have a look at them. And he brought over the prints. And Houston, we have a problem. I have a problem because it's recommended by my landlady. Her relation was involved in printing these. And Dave has a problem. Okay, let's pack this up. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Zoom back, I guess. Zoom out. He brought 2 prints. They're fully packaged. They're ready for sale. And what they want is they want me to put these into our stock and sell them. And what they've done is they've contacted, what's the name of the company? Tsuburaya Productions, it says here on one of the prints. Subaraya Productions is the people who own the rights to the pop culture object called Ultraman. And they've made some actual woodblock prints, carved and printed, featuring Ultraman 1 and 2. Yeah, like I said, I had no problem with the idea of mixing pop culture, of course. And what they've done with these is they haven't actually, this is woodblock prints, but they haven't actually started from zero and carved a block set. They took a set of blocks that one of the workshops here had, and they cut a new key block portion for this guy, and they cut a new sky block so that this was cut out. But all the rest of this is printed from the block set that they had. And this one is the same. It's a normal block set for printing this reproduction of a Hokusai print, and on top of it they've printed, bang, a black block and a gold block. Dave's problem is this. Good morning, hello, hello. Dave's problem is this. Now let's maybe pick up from this one. Shh. So we're on the stream here, we're still live, so. Lunch, is it? Drinks?
A bit lighter one.
Okay, thank you.
But I like it to
So
be
let's just zoom in here. Let's zoom in here.
Oh.
And
Yeah, maybe.
just to pick one example, there is the cartouche and there is the colored block around the cartouche. And which we go here. Let's go up to the mountain here. There is the mountain with some red, very nice red smeared all into the sky. Here are Hokusai's trees, which are actually parodies of what Hokusai actually drew. It's not registration trouble, it's carving trouble. The guy who carved the background block didn't even get close. It's not misregistered, it's grossly miscarved. The printer couldn't try to get it. Up in the sky here, we have total streaks. Up in the Great Wave version, I don't have mine in front of me to compare, but it's the same thing. It's carved with a parody of the shapes that Hokusai actually drew. The men have no faces. The snowflakes, the foam are all little white round circles. Whatever, long story short, it's not the kind of stuff that we want to put into our shop. Is the problem in the carving and the printing? It's just the general level of quality. It's a really, really low level quality production of the print. And I showed you that. When he put them on the table, the first thing I did was I pulled out our Great Wave. Hi, Kawai-san. I pulled out our Great Wave and showed him. And like he said, well, okay, I get that, but so what's the point? What are you trying to tell me? I was trying to tell him that, you know, we have a level, something that goes in our shop with the Moko Hankan label on it that sits in a Moko Hankan shop. We want a certain level of quality, and there's no way I can put this into our shop. If this was in the antique corner, then go for it. Because the antique corner, we generally curate this. We pick what seems to be nicely made stuff as much as possible. But in the middle of the antique corner, stuff that might be carved just as bad. We put the price at a lower level and out they go, and people dig through the antique shelf to get what they want. Expensive stuff or cheap stuff. But there's no way I'm going to put a brand new woodblock print, and especially the Great Wave. I'm going to put the Great Wave in the Moko Hankan shop with the Moko Hankan name on top. It's as though I did it. No. So I got a problem. My landlady wants me to sell this because one of her relations had it on the printing. And normally when our landlady says, onegaishimasu, we say, yes. So I showed the guy the stuff yesterday. I showed him our own prints, and I showed him our own work. I took him upstairs, and I showed him Sugu-san what she was doing right now. And he got it. The publisher for this stuff, he got it. And he said, geez, we should have asked you guys to make this in the first place. And I'm like, well, actually, we're kind of busy right now. I don't think we can do this. But so that's where it sits. In order to keep the landlady happy right now, the prints are here. He said, well, tell you what, let's put them in the shop, and we can tell her that they're there, right? You know? So that's what we've done. We're going to hold them here and talk to people about them. But there's no way I'm going to sell these in our shop. So. bargain bin up front. No, I don't want my name on these things. Anyway, there we go. So, sorry to sort of end the stream with a bit of a not so happy, interesting thing, but these things are out there. As far as the mix of pop culture and uke, there are now dozens of prints from every publisher in town. The Takesaza Workshop has made a group of Lupin the Third prints. There's Doraemon prints. There's you name it, any pop culture now, they've got licensing and they've done this. This is licensed stuff. This is not parody. This is licensed for the Ultraman people. And it's all over the place out there. Jed-san started something. How sad would the landlady be if she found out? I mean, when she finds out, she already knows maybe the guy will phone her back and say, no, Dave said he can't take me to the shops or whatever. So, maybe I've shot myself in the foot. Maybe my rent is about to go up. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't help it. Anyway. Yeah, the kiss prints. Those are early ones. They caught on really quickly just after we did our job. Also the price, oh my god, let me tell you the price. It's double the price of our own stuff, so whatever. Okay, anyway, here we are, 9:26. We have a full day of parties here, and because of the lady who quit last week, I have to do the parties myself. We still are struggling to find staff replacements. So I'm on party duty this morning, 1, 2, 3 parties with Kawai-san. I better get going on that. Okay, this is Saturday. Next stream will be Monday morning. I have no idea if I will be able to get my second camera working. I'm going to contact the maker of this thing to see if I can get some information on how to make it work again or send it back for replacement or whatever. And we'll be up and running. So, see you again Monday morning. Thanks so much, guys. And next week, Thursday, will be a special stream. John Becker will be here sitting on the stool. If we can get a second camera working. We'll see what happens. See you on Monday. Thanks so much, guys. I'll read through the chat when I'm having lunch and see if there's been something interesting that I've mixed. So, off you get. Bye-bye. See you on Monday morning. Thanks again.